Welcome back, everybody, or welcome if you're new. As you can see, I have some beans in jars up here. I like it for a decoration, but as you can see, if you can see that, my beans are starting to sprout. There's nothing wrong with sprouted beans. They're actually better for you to digest, but I'm going to can these up. The white beans, I'm going to be doing a different canning recipe for them. But let's get started on canning beans. You'll want to wash your beans, but first I'm going to look my beans to make sure there's no little stones or rocks or bad beans. I'll just get a handful, look through it. When I get done with that, I'll be back. Okay, I've looked them through and didn't see no stones. Some people don't like to leave their split beans. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that they're in there. But I'm just going to rinse these off good, and then we'll get to the next step. Okay, I've got my beans down in my pot. I'm going to do the long soak on these. You can do the quick soak method, which is you boil them for 2 minutes and then you turn them off and let them set for 1 hour. But I'm going to do the long soak on them. It's better for digestion. So I've got about 10 cups of these. This is all I'm going to do to set overnight. I'll do the other beans tomorrow. I'll set another load overnight because this is going to be probably it's 10 cups of beans. I put them in pints, and it's about half a cup of beans per pint, or a whole cup of beans per quart, or a little bit more or less depending on how you measure it. But I'm going to put water over this. They say to put, for every cup of beans, to put 3 cups of water. I'm just going to fill this up pretty full. They'll swell up some overnight. And I'm going to put just a dash of apple cider vinegar in it. That is good for digestion too, to take some of the gases out of the beans. Now what I'll use these for, it's going to be an easy chili making. If I have these beans on the shelf, all I got to do is open up the ground beef, cans of ground beef that I canned up, and the beans and my tomato juice and diced tomatoes, and throw some spices in there. Or I may have, just a pint for a couple lunches with some cornbread or something. But it's just good to have on the shelf. Quick and easy. You've already got them done, because beans take a long time to cook. Okay, I'll fill this up and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to put a splash of vinegar in there. Now I'm going to let these set overnight, and I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, the beans is soaked overnight, and before I do anything with these, I'm going to make a pork broth to go in some of the jars. I'm going to make the broth in the Instant Pot. This isn't going to make a lot of broth. It's going to be really concentrated. Usually I have a big pot, or I use my electric water bath canner to make the broth, and I let it go for around 36 hours. But I need a quick one today, and I don't need very much. So if you want to make a quick broth, you can use the Instapot or a pressure cooker. But I've got these pork bones that I've had in the freezer from where we've made different stuff. I'm going to put that in there. And this is going to be kind of a broth that don't have a lot of seasonings to put in there. Usually I have a lot of seasonings. But as you can see, it's not going to fit a lot of water. You can also cover your beans with water. That's what I'll do with some of them too. But I'm going to add some peppercorns. And some salt. I'll be adding salt to the beans too, so we don't need too much. Get it open. Couple of bay leaves. And a good splash of apple cider vinegar. This will bring out all the good stuff out of the bones, help the bones break down. And then some water. Get some more water. Okay, I've got it filled up to the line. I'm going to put the lid on. And put it on the ceiling. And then I'm going to do manual for 2 hours. And then I'll just let that slow release. And I'll be back then. Okay, the beans have about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to let it slow release. So I'm going to go ahead and start the next step on the beans. By the time they get done, for canning, this should be done, and we'll get them canned up. Oh, and by the way, I set this for 200 minutes instead of 2 hours. You only need 120 on your Instapot. It was early and I was half awake, so. Okay, I'm going to strain this. I'm just going to use a pitcher instead of picking it up. Thank you all for your well wishes on my back. It's feeling a lot better. So I don't want to do nothing to get like that again. So I'm just going to strain it out. I'll be back when I get this done. Okay, I'm going to rinse these. Rinse them out real good. You see they've gotten bigger than they was. After I get these rinsed, I'll put them back in the pot and add new water, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, I'm going to bring this up to a boil and then simmer it for 30 minutes. Okay, I've got the kidney beans and the black beans. They're going to soak overnight through the day today. This is what you want to look out for. Not the beans, but these stones. They could break a tooth. Okay, it's boiling. I'm going to turn it down to simmer and simmer for 30 minutes. Okay, the beans are done. I'm going to strain this broth. And I'll be back. Okay, I've got my broth and I've got my beans. You could use your broth from your beans, just plain water. You could use any kind of chicken broth, beef broth, tomato juice, tomato sauce, even your barbecue sauce, if you have it thinned out, you know. Okay, let's get to canning them. Okay, I'm going to fill up my beans to about right here, and then fill it up to 1-inch headspace with the broth. You don't want too many beans in, because they're not fully cooked yet, and these are going to swell even bigger. And you don't want just a whole big old block of beans in your jars. And fill up to 1-inch headspace. And also I'm going to put 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You don't have to put salt. You can put whatever seasonings you want in it. And I want to debubble. Figure out what I'm doing here. Okay. Take some vinegar, wipe the rim, put a lid, a ring on, fingertip tight, and put it in your canner. Your water needs to be just as hot as your beans are. Let's get the rest canned. Okay, I got 9 pints. I'm going to put the lid on, bring it up to a steady stream of steam coming out of the top, and when it comes up to pressure, I'll be pressure canning these for 75 minutes, 90 minutes if it's quarts, and we'll be back then. Okay, there's a steady stream of steam. I'll set my timer for 10 minutes. We'll be back. Okay, the timers went off. I'm going to put my weight on. Mine is 15 pounds pressure for my altitude. You'll have to check your altitude and your canner directions for how much pounds of pressure you need. As soon as this starts rocking, I'm going to time it for 75 minutes, and we'll be back when the jars are out. And there you have it. Some beans to go on the shelf for some quick meals. I will say your black beans, they will lose their color. They're more like the color of a kidney bean now, but they're really good. Now I got 12 pints of black beans. I knew I had 3 bags of beans in that half-gallon jar. And I know I bought those at the Dollar Tree when it was $1. So that was $3, and got 12 jars, so that is 25 cents for a jar. The cheapest black beans I've seen online and all is 78 cents. So this really saves you a lot of money. Today is Friday, St. Patrick's Day, and I lost my dad a year ago today, and I want to dedicate this video to him. The man loved his cornbread and beans, and I just want to dedicate that to him. I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you have a blessed day, and come back and see us.